Final hour overdrive continues. Powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. If you had the Orioles hitting 4,000 home runs today, then you'd be correct because they just hit another home run. It's 11-2. Rushman just absolutely destroyed one to right field. And it's not a good start for the Jays. It's not good.
I'm telling you, man. It's not going to take much more to start really bothering
How many
people.
Games? It's not one game, right? There'll be an overreaction.
The
that
first
always
one always
happens.
gets wiped out. It's like, let's go get them tomorrow, boys.
Yeah, we're back at it.
What is the first series against Baltimore?
Baltimore, then Washington at home, and then they hit the road. They're at the Mets, they're at the Yankees.
That's where it could get stupid immediately if they start getting their doors blown off by the Nationals. Like if the Nationals wheel in here and start clubbing them around, that's when people are going to say, you guys stink.
Yeah, that's true. You got to be like 4-3. This is a 4-game series. I think that's a 3-game series against the Nats, and the Nationals are not a good team.
Dude, didn't Baltimore come in here a bunch last year and absolutely destroy these
guys? They mash. That's the thing. This lineup, they just hit another home run, I think. Yeah, they did. It's 12-2. I'm watching this live. It's like they're replaying these. It's batting practice for the Orioles. What is that, the 5th or 6th home run they've hit? It's crazy. Anyway, this is the thing with the Orioles. They can mash. Like, if they're healthy and they can hit, and they got a great farm system, they got young guys coming up. Anyway, well, 12-2 Baltimore.
Look at you. You're already getting into great farm systems. And it's like your jealousy just kind of blurted out there on a split second.
Yeah.
You're like,
well,
maybe that's the way you because remember how bad Baltimore was?
Horrendous.
And by the way, they don't do jack squat in the playoffs. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
They're a hype machine, and they've been kind of favored to do some big things because they've had some great. But they started from the bottom up, man. They were awful.
Yeah,
they're the worst team. They were the laughing stock of the league. And then it just started coming. Their players hit, and they're good. And like you said, they mash.
Well, and the thing is, like, Henderson's not even playing. Who's their best player? You know, so you got, Mountcastle and Santander's up here. Like, so you got Henderson and Santander, who were both probably their most productive hitters, not even in the lineup, and it's 12-2. So yeah, it's not a great
Tough
first
start.
impression. Not a great start for the Blue Jays.
Not the best.
Not the best. And this is the beauty of it. Like, the Raptors won last night. That Brooklyn Nets team is so pathetic. And you know what? I'm coming around on the Raptors because you're going to finish 7th last, and that's it. And maybe you get the lottery gods, shining brightly down on you because you actually didn't quit the way Brooklyn did and the way Philly did. The Nets are so horrible, and the Sixers lost at home to the Wizards last night. Nobody loses to Washington, let alone at home. The Sixers and the Nets are so pathetic.
Silver's got to step in, Hayes. It's gone way too far.
Well, it's the horse is out of the barn now. There's nothing you can do this year. You can't get it back in this year.
Okay. Well, that should be pronto. As soon as the championship is handed out, they need to get into a meeting room and say, we cannot have our league doing this.
It's pathetic.
Players not playing, back-to-backs. They got to get it all sorted out. I think the whole NBA needs to kind of reboot it going into next season.
They got to reset,
players have
man.
to be into it. The players have to be also willing to.
Imagine having to
everybody.
say to somebody, you got to be into it.
Listen, I get it, but that's
it's kind of like the first thing that has to be involved with professional sports. The athlete be into it.
Well, as far as adjustment of the league, adjustment and being willing to play every night. I can understand being a competitive athlete and not being interested in playing every night. It makes no sense.
Well, it was like that until 5 or 6 years ago, and then they got the appetite they can do it. I think it started in Cleveland with LeBron and company. I'll never forget there was a game in Memphis, and Cleveland was like, yeah, just an FYI, we're not sending up our big boys. Kyrie, LeBron, Jordan Love.
Yeah. Greg Popovich, too, man. Look at Pop. Pop did it as Pop was the original load management guy. The original, we're not even bringing our guys on the road. Speaking of LeBron, when he was in Miami, I remember it was a big game. It was a TNT, like, Thursday night game. LeBron and the Heat up against the Spurs. And, like, he didn't bring Parker and Ginobili, Duncan. I think Kawhi stayed home. He just said, we're not bringing them. And, like, the arrogance of Popovich to just be like, I don't care about any of it. And it's and now, it's all unraveled. And there's a lot of positive things happening in the league. But there's injuries.
Really? What the hell's positive happening in the league, Hayes?
Did you see LeBron last night?
going to win an MVP?
Yeah, that's one. Again, LeBron had a tip in to win last night. The guy's 40 years old. The Lakers are going to the playoffs. Like, that should be a positive story. It should be a positive story. Luka Doncic is in L.A. The Lakers going to the playoffs. Maybe they play the Clippers in the first round. That should be. But it's just, when you talk about LeBron, it's not about what's going on the court. It's him and Stephen A. Smith now, and his reaction to how the game is covered. And Adam Silver, I guess, was doing an interview today and saying he's feeding into it as well, like this victim mentality that the game is covered in a way that other sports aren't. It's not celebrated enough.
He also said that his attempt at an All-Star game was
a
an
miss.
Absolute miss.
Which is that's downplaying it. It was a disaster. That All-Star game. That was a miss, is putting it lightly. But yeah, I mean, listen, I guess, again, if you're the Raptors, what are you going to do? Go on. They beat Brooklyn by 30 last night. And that was what, like, Pirtle didn't play. It's crazy to see some of these teams just kind of fade towards the finish line, but that's their plan in the end. I guess it is for the Flyers, too. Maybe the Flyers are, you fire Tortorella right now. Is it in your best interest to just lose every game the rest of the way? And just get the best lottery odds you possibly can, and maybe you get the Schaefer kid, or you get Misa or something like that.
Now, that's going to be a tough sell. I mean, we can ask Pierre, but I think pretty sure the message was going to be, and I'm sure it was the same message in Chicago, I just didn't see us. Remember when Davidson came out and he goes, I just didn't see us as a last-place club. We'll see what they got now, because I don't see the Flyers much more than they are right now.
No, I'm with you, man. And Buffalo's right behind them, and with 3 games in hand, and Nashville is starting to put some points together. Like, they may finish third, only ahead of San Jose and Chicago. Here's our TSN hockey insider, Pierre LeBrun. Do you sense that could be the plan here? Like, and if so, would it have been better to keep Tortorella and let them just lose the way they've been losing, and maybe you win the lottery and you end up with the first overall pick in Philly?
Well, first, let me just say this. Your segue was extremely smooth, Brian.
Thank you.
From the NBA to the Flyers.
Thank you.
But you could have gone from LeBron to LeBron.
Yes, that was right there on the platter for me.
But for another
what
day,
an egregious error.
Yeah, egregious.
I mean, I just want to point it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's been a wild couple of days with the Flyers. Just to give you a little flavor, on Tuesday morning, during the morning skates, I actually sat down with Danny Briere for an interview, and we were talking actually about how the rebuild is still, there's still some real painful moments right now, and he pointed out that he felt bad for Torts and the players that he had to make the trades he made in terms of selling off, Lawton, such a popular guy, but also, Frost and Farabee, and really didn't bring in NHL guys. So they knew this would be a painful month. And he kind of felt for coaches and players on that. But, one thing about Briere and Keith Jones, for that matter, since they took charge in May of 23, They told everyone what they were going to do and where they were headed with this rebuild, and that there would be some painful moments. And even though they almost made the playoffs last year, they never got fooled by that. They came back this year and said, we're going to sell off more players. And I kind of, I give them props for how consistent they've been in their messaging on that. But in the interim, even though publicly Tortorella was, telling the media that he was on board and understood the rebuild and understands that he has to be patient. Clearly, what we now know is that behind the scenes, he was pretty troubled by all the losing. And it wasn't just his comments Tuesday night. I mean, there are other, I'm told, conversations and comments with the organization in the last 48 hours that culminated in this firing. Because believe me, this was not plan A. The Flyers would have preferred to wait until the season was over to sit down with him, get another year on his deal, and see how he felt mentally and physically, and then make a decision. But I think Tortorella kind of forced their hand, and that's where they are. But in the meantime, to your point, they could end up with a lottery pick. They have 3 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks in this draft. They have 7 picks in the first 2 rounds. So, and one thing Briere told me in that interview, by the way, is that they're open to listening on those picks. They're not just picks meant to pick players, but they're willing to be pretty aggressive in terms of maybe using some of those assets and trades to try and add players this summer.
Pierre, when you mentioned Tortorella kind of helping things along, are you referring to the comments he made after the game against the Leafs?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, I thought that was you guys had touched on that too. But yeah, his comments after the game were kind of fed into further conversations behind the scenes with management over the last 48 hours, and led to what we got this morning.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really argue against it. It's not. It just, in retrospect, and I said this yesterday, and I've said it at times over the last 2 years. I have no idea how that was ever going to work. John Tortorella as a babysitting.
Hey, me and you were on the same page.
It was insane.
This is the most insane hire ever.
It was always like, nah, believe me, he knows. I'm like, do we know who we're talking about here? This is John Tortorella. He's waiting to blow a gasket. He can't wait to do it. It just was never conducive to a plan. And I guess Pierre and them, they got to kind of own that, Pierre. Like they hired him and kept him around, and they thought it would work, and now it's blown up in their face 9 games before the season comes to an end.
But again, just for context, because I think it's wild that they were here when a lot of this culminated. But even Tuesday morning, I was in the media scrum where Tortorella was asked about the fact that he had a little more insight into what management was doing than the average coach, and understood the rebuild, and he talked about it. So it's really kind of amazing, I guess, what was really going on behind the scenes. But yeah, and obviously I'm interested now to see how the Flyers go with their search. They're going to take their time. They're going to talk to a lot of different people here. They're in no hurry, but. One name that's popped up quick and early is that of Rick Tocchet, because it deals up in Vancouver at the end of the year. But
are you buying that, Pierre, or why would that make sense for Rick Tocchet?
I think it's premature for the moment, because Rick Tocchet, I don't think, has made any decisions about his future. I mean, he may still sign an extension with the Canucks. It's just that he's not. What he said last week is that he's not in a position where he wants to deal with that now in the middle of a playoff race. He wants to deal with it in the off season, But if he doesn't sign an extension, I mean, he'd be a pretty hot commodity on the coaching market. The guy just won the Jack Adams. So, yeah, I mean, I think that him and Keith Jones have a relationship. I would certainly put him among the candidates for the Philly job, not the only candidate. There would be lots of other guys in that mix, I think.
Pierre, what's the appetite right now in Seattle as far as how they're tracking? They had a pretty good run a couple of years ago, and then this year has been flat. Where are they at with that team and the patience of what's happened so far?
Yeah, it's a good question, and don't forget too, Struddy, the coaching change from last year to this year, and it hasn't given them the results they wanted. I mean, I know when I sat down with Ron Francis when the Kraken were in Toronto in the fall, he didn't hide the fact that they really wanted to get back in the playoff mix, that was the expectation internally. And obviously that hasn't happened. So I think there is a lot of disappointment there. On the flip side, they've made a number of trades. Trade for Kakko, I think, is going to bode well for them, giving him a fresh start from the Rangers. And I think they had a pretty good selling deadline. But again, they didn't want to be sellers, but especially with the trade with Tampa involving Gord, and Bjorkstrand. But this is a disappointment by any measure. Like, the Kraken thought they would get back into it like they were 2 years ago, and that was the expectation internally.
With Pierre LeBrun, our TSN hockey insider, Ottawa has now lost 3 of their last 4. They're in Detroit tonight. If they lose to Detroit tonight, does panic seep in? Like, where's your radar at when it comes?
Had to go there.
I got to ask a question about the
I know, but
journalism. It's because they were red hot before this little run here, and they lost in Buffalo. And if they lose to Detroit,
are you just trying? You just don't want the Battle of Ontario?
No, I'd like to see it. I think it'd be brilliant. If I could sign off on it, I'd take it right now over any other matchup. I'd love the Battle of Ontario, but I just I know if the I can't ask you about that. Montreal. If Montreal loses in Philly tonight, people are going to lose their mind. Like, this has got to be 2 points for the Habs. You have to win tonight in Philly. They've been a disaster, and
but there's a big difference between where. Let's put it this way: I don't want to speak for fan bases because it's too hard to do. But the expectation with Ottawa and Montreal is at a different place. I mean, Ottawa's been out of it for a long time, and this was the year they had to get in. Mm-hmm. Whereas Montreal is basically a year ahead of their curve right now. So they're in gravy town right now. Now, because they're in, they don't want to lose. It would hurt if they didn't make it now because they've got a taste of it. My point to you is this would be a much bigger deal in Ottawa if the Senators faded out of this race.
Yes. Oh, of course it would be. But, Montreal wins tonight and Ottawa loses. I guess what I'm getting at is Montreal be 2 points behind them. And then all of a sudden it's Montreal playing the Leafs or Florida in the first round. Like it just no guarantees exactly how that wild card race is even going to play out.
Yeah, I still think we haven't heard the end yet from the Rangers either. I keep saying that, and they keep disappointing me.
Come on, man.
But there's got to be more there with the guy they have in net. But, it is a big night. What I love about this time of year is every game at this time of year is a moment. And so for Montreal, they got completely embarrassed defensively the other night in St. Louis. So how do they recover? Because that's their first back game in a long time for them. So let's see how they react tonight. Mm-hmm. And you can say what you want about how bad the Flyers have been. They did have a coaching change today, so usually a team responds to that. So we'll see how they do. But I'm with you on Ottawa in the sense. I'm finally answering your question, Brian. There's been a lot of positives with the Senators this year. Some ups and downs, but because of the baggage that they carry from the past number of years, you can't think that they developed a confidence that is unshakable. Like to your point, if they lose again tonight, then I think the second guessing pops in. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but to answer your question, I do think it's a very uncomfortable thing for them if they lose tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll see what comes of it. That's the beauty of these games. We're getting into the stretch run here with Pierre LeBrun. Go ahead, O.
Pierre, I just wanted to ask you before we get you out of here, what would you think if you woke up in the morning and Dak Prescott was a Cleveland Brown?
How did that? I saw some denials there. I didn't quite track that story. So you guys educate me because I didn't go and read some of it in detail. So is everyone saying?
Dude, I'm going on dummy people on Twitter.
I don't know if I'm buying that, man. How are you going to pay for Dak?
But I just
want to
know, I just want to know, Pierre, what would you think if Dak was a Brown?
Well, unless you got Myles Garrett in returns, I'd be pretty disappointed because who's your quarterback then? I know there's a lot of Dak detractors, but before you cut your losses with Dak Prescott, you have to know who's his replacement. I lived the abyss years in between Troy Aikman and Tony Romo. That was a lot of years without a quarterback. That was a lot of years. Poor Struddy's living it right now with the Giants, but when you don't have a quarterback, it's miserable. The Cowboys don't have a top 8 elite quarterback, that's for sure, but they have a quarterback who's better than half the league. I'll take that right now without knowing what the other side of the coin is.
Yeah, I don't see how it works because Deshaun Watson is guaranteed money, and they just paid Myles Garrett. Now you're going to bring in $60 million for Dak, but it is Cleveland.
Deshaun Watson, Hayes. I think if you had a top 10 list of athletes who I don't want to watch perform in pro sport, he would be.
Well, you're in luck because you're not going to see him anytime soon, right?
I was going to say.
Yeah, his Achilles blew out. He probably won't play next year. And I think Cleveland's more than happy to just say, go stand over there, please.
Yeah,
please. Just stay out of the way. And it is Cleveland, so I guess you can't put anything past them. But the idea that that's the big plan, we'll go get Dak Prescott to get us over the top.
Imagine thinking that.
Well, I can because it's Cleveland. Again, because it's the Browns, I can see it that way. But I don't see the Cowboys doing it because of everything Pierre just said. Very reasonable take, Pierre. Very reasonable.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, very calm. All right, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
All right,
see you, buddy.
Boys. Talk next week.
There's Pierre LeBrun, our TSN Hockey Insider. Best bet still to come. I'm seeing something. Someone just sent us this, that Bubba Watson did a sit-down with golf.com. And he's made a comment that some people are in disagreement with. We'll see if we can play it. We'll come back and we'll get your take on it. And we'll have our draft because I'm curious how this is going to play out. 5 players each, snake. We can flip a coin for who goes first. Maybe we give first pick to Strud so he can take McDavid and just get it out of the way with. That's fine. Okay. But there's a lot of great players in this country, and I'm curious. I got a few players circled where I'm wondering where they're going to land in this draft, if they'll get picked at all. So we'll get to that as well. Leaf Sharks tonight. Best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, best bets later in the hour. Leafs in San Jose right here on TSN Radio tonight. Get to this draft in a moment. I'll lay it all out on the line so everyone's on the same page. It'll be quick. I'm just curious where some of these guys are going to land because we've got so much talent. We say it all the time. There's so much talent on these 7 Canadian teams that if we were to redraft everything and we were drafting for a team that we were going to build for the next 5 years. Next 5 years, that's it. Not 10, not 15, the next 5.
So we're drafting the now, right? We're not going back saying who
the now.
Yeah.
They got to be playing right now on a Canadian team.
Gotcha.
That's all it is. On one of the 7 Canadian teams. Okay, that's all it is. You guys want to do it here? We'll get to the Bubba Watson audio right afterwards because I'm curious what your reaction is going to be. Strud, why don't you take first pick? Oh, do you want second or third pick?
I'll take third, Hayes.
Okay, so I'll go in the middle and we'll snake it around. All right, Strud, you got the first pick. Go ahead and take your boy. We know who you're taking.
Leon Draisaitl with the first overall pick.
Over Connor McDavid.
Leon Draisaitl. You heard me.
I can't believe what I actually can't believe. Do you understand the practice?
Dude, you're being an idiot.
You're taking Leon Draisaitl. This is your last call. You're taking Draisaitl?
Leon Draisaitl. I said it.
God.
I've said it. I'm not stumbling over my words.
Okay. I'll take Connor McDavid.
There it is.
I'll take Connor McDavid. Thank you very. I cannot believe McDavid's still on the board there. But all right, Draisaitl 1, McDavid 2. You have 2 picks here. Oh, you got 2 picks here of all the players playing on the Canadian teams. We are redrafting, building a team for the next 5 years. 5 picks each. That's it. Maybe we get a little bit crazy after. We'll see. But what a shock. Draisaitl goes first overall.
He knows the game.
And Connor McDavid is on the board for me at 2.
Austin Matthews, Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, those are layups. Who would you take ahead of that? Let me throw this out here before we continue.
Brady Tkachuk ahead of him.
No, let me ask you this question: if it was between, if you couldn't pick 2 guys, would you have taken Hughes or Matthews first?
Austin Matthews. Yeah, I would have.
I would have taken Hughes. I would have taken Hughes.
Thank you. I think it's a stretch. I think you're trying to manipulate.
No, I would have done exactly what you just did. Hughes and Matthews. Those would have been my 2 picks. I'm not disputing that.
But if you're telling me if you had one, you would have taken Hughes over
for the next
Matthews.
5 years, I don't know if I think I would have taken Hughes second after McDavid. I do. I think the way he's 25, the way he's playing, plays 30 minutes a night. Okay. This guy's unbelievable. Like he's a true number 1 defenseman.
We get enough clicks on the internet. You don't have to. You're looking for clicks.
You think it's clicky to say that Quinn Hughes is the second most valuable player in the country?
Honestly, he is so good. I was thinking to myself last night, people think he's good. I don't even think they understand how good that guy is. He is disgusting.
It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable how good he is. All right, this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey because
who's up, Hazy?
I'm up here. I'm up here.
Stalling.
I'm
stalling.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Connor Hellebuck. Hellebuck. I mean, this is where I can hear Noodles being like, "You got to take Hellebuck. If you don't take Hellebuck, you're an idiot." How do you not take Hellebuck?
We're taking 6 people each. We're taking a lineup and a goalie. Correct?
Do you want to do that? Okay,
sure. Let's do it.
All right, I'll take the best goalie in the country. I mean, he is right now, and I believe he still will be in 5 years. So, Struddy, you got 2 picks here. You're snaking second round into the third round. Go ahead.
So now my plan is starting to unfold just like I saw it. Brady Tkachuk beside Leon. Oh, I don't want to play against that line. You can put a garbage can on the other side.
Yeah.
And then a little bit off the board here, guys, Lane Hudson.
Wow, what a pick by Strud. Man, I can't, it's tough to argue against that. He's been so good as a rookie. Like if you're building a team for the next 5 years, when you consider what that kid's already doing right now, what is his ceiling in 2 or 3 years? Man, Struddy's been putting in some time and some effort. I am going to take.
Aren't I up?
No, I'm up.
Oh,
no,
I'm going to take William Nylander. I will take William Nylander with my 8th pick. Guy scores 40 every single year. I mean, I don't have to tell you who he is, what he does. He's a professional. He's in his prime. I think he's a big game player. I think he's got that in him. I will take William Nylander. You got a 2-pack, Go ahead.
Oh, Austin Matthews needs a right winger, huh?
Who are you taking, his boy? You taking 16?
Marner.
Okay.
Mitch
All right.
Marner.
All right.
Mariner.
Mariner. Okay. The face of the 15 draft, Mitch Marner. The face of the 2015 draft. All right, you got another pick. You're snaking back,
To go on left wing.
Yes.
with Austin Matthews. I'll take a guy out of Winnipeg named Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor.
Love
That's
it.
a great pick.
That was my guy. That was my sneaker pick.
That is a great pick.
Nice work,
It's
buddy.
no sneaker pick. He's a 40-goal scorer.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love that player.
That is
Nice
sneaky.
Work.
That is
Nice
sneaky.
work.
Okay. I am going to, again, we're not, it doesn't, you don't have to fill out, like, you don't need wingers. You know, like, I guess you can take them.
Dude, it's kind of like you need a centerman, 2 wingers, 2D, and a goalie.
Is that how you want to do it?
That's the exercise.
Is that
Doing it
okay?
right.
Okay.
It's not half-assed.
If that's how we're doing it, then I'm gonna have to get a defenseman here, I think.
Yeah, you do, and you're on thin. You're on
I'll
low.
take Josh Morrissey. I'm going to take Josh Morrissey. Josh Morrissey out of Winnipeg. I love Morrissey. He's Team Canada guy. He's a lock, still in his prime, number 1 defenseman on the best team in the league. Morrissey's still on the board for me. Lock it in. I got Morrissey. All right, you got a 2-pack here, Strud.
Mark Scheifele to finish off my forward line. He's on the wing.
Okay. All right, you can do that then. That's established.
I guess that's established.
You got to have it.
Yep.
Scheifele, Kachuk, and Leon. I'll take that all day long.
Go ahead.
And then the D. Oh, man, I'm looking ahead here. This isn't easy. This is way off the board as well, but I'm going. I love this player.
Yeah.
Caden Gooley.
You're taking Caden Gooley, who's injured currently. Now it's a 5-year plan, but you have
Gooley.
Gooley and Hudson.
Yeah,
2 halves. Okay.
I'm not sure, dude.
Like, I would have taken Jake Sanderson before I took him, personally. Personally, but that's just me. That's me.
Young. I'm going young.
All right. I will take I'm gonna finish out the top line, and I'm gonna play a guy who also will play on the wing, but maybe there's a chance I'm moving him around. I'm gonna take Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki with my final forward pick, and that means I have Suzuki, McDavid, and Nylander. That's the best line possibly ever put together in the history of hockey.
What about Kyle Connor, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner?
That's a good second line. You could play second line on my team any day of the week. You could be on my second line. All right, go ahead. What round are we in here?
5th.
Okay, so these are your last 2 picks. So you need a goalie and I think another defenseman, right? Is that true? Do you have who's your defenseman so far? Who'd you pick?
I picked
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes, and to pair up with him would be fellow American Jake Sanderson.
Nice,
good pick. Good team. Good pick. Okay, you got Sanderson, and then you need
my
you need a goalie.
Is the brick wall, Joseph Wolf.
You're kidding me.
Oh boy.
Over Dustin Wolf or over somewhat injured Demko. Okay,
Dude,
that's a lot.
Joseph Wall.
It's a lot.
Put this to a vote.
Joseph Wall.
Put it to a vote, and I'll have the best team. The Twitter peeps, they'll jump on board with my squad and love it. I love my team.
Well, I am in a scenario here where I have 2 options here on defense because this will be my last pick, and I'm thinking, do I load up offensively and I just have a juggernaut that is unstoppable?
Dude, just pick somebody.
All right, I'll take Bouchard. I'll go Quinn Hughes and Evan Bouchard on the point for me.
What are you talking about? I have Quinn Hughes.
No. Oh yeah, you have Quinn Hughes. So who do I have? I got Morrissey and Bouchard. Sorry, Morrissey and Bouchard. Morrissey, that's who I was talking about. Morrissey and Bouchard. Those are my 2 defensemen, and that's my team. I'm picked.
Strud, you need a goalie.
Strud,
I know,
you need
that's a light team. Hayes, your team is really light.
Yeah, it's an all-star game. That's what we're building towards.
No, light. Dude. We're playing NHL playoff type hockey. Your team gets smoked, dude. Tonight.
We'll see. Hellebuck in net. You got Joseph Wall in net, dude.
Dude, I love my pick. I think Wall is going to lead the team.
He may not start game 1 of the playoffs this year.
So
Stolarz heard you make that pick, and he rolled his eyes.
So the problem with you guys is you guys are looking now, within 2 years, your guys are going to be not effective. Mine are only going to continue to improve. I've got Gooley. I've got Hudson as youth.
Outrageous picks.
You're taking Montembeau, aren't you?
Please say you're taking
Dustin Wolf.
That's a good pick.
Another young. So my team is not only going to be good now, we're going to grow.
In 2035, you guys are going to be awesome. You and Jim Nance.
Package.
Jim Nance will retire, and your team will win the Stanley Cup in 2036.
Struddy's team will show up.
Total package, guys. Big, heavy, can score.
Okay.
Like, who's going to stop Brady Kachuk on your teams? Nobody.
Well, I don't need to because I got the puck the whole time. I got McDavid, Suzuki, Nylander, Morrissey, Bouchard, Hellebuck. That's my team.
I got Quinn Hughes. Just grabs the puck and just rags it the whole shift.
But you know what's interesting is that Elias Pettersson, not picked. And I don't even, did we think about Pettersson? Like, was he a guy that was
I don't even. I bet you the three of us. I can speak for myself. It wasn't even a thought.
Right.
No.
I'm in the
There's
same
others.
boat. I mean that, and that's
like
what,
I would have gone Cole Caulfield. I would have gone Adam
I would have gone
Lowry.
Stützle before
I would have
him.
gone Iafallo.
Yes,
Yeah.
Stützle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree, man. I mean,
Matthew Nyes, maybe. That's a
all
winger.
day.
Big body.
I should have taken Matthew
Yeah.
Nyes.
well, I mean,
know?
dude, you got to be you would have just had the Leafs top line. You might as well wrap it up.
Can I have the Leafs top line? Somebody
No,
can trade me. I'll take Matthew Nyes and someone
instead
can
of
have
Kyle
that.
Connor? You want
No,
Matthew
forget, I'm not
Nyes
doing
instead
that
of
to my
Kyle
guy.
Connor?
I'm
Like,
not gonna do
get
it to my
serious
guy.
here.
Yeah,
But
I will trade you right now. I will trade you.
we're making trades. Who are you
Who's
trading,
my other
Strud?
guy there? I'll trade you Scheifele for Kyle Connor right now.
No, because
Why
I
would
need a
you do
left
that?
winger.
Yeah,
I need
why
a
would you
left
do that?
winger.
All right.
Okay,
That's it. You
let
had
me
your
throw
chance.
that. Let me.
Okay, you get one substitute. Mine is Matthew Nyes. That's what I'm going to put in there.
Now we're adding a
One
substitute.
alternate.
Jeez,
One
this is
alternate.
deep.
Matthew Nyes.
Okay, Struddy, do you have anybody that
You're
you're probably gonna? You'll just take Slavkovsky so you can have all the Habs that are 20 and under.
just a youth movement, guys. I'm
Take
thinking ahead.
Slavkovsky and then you're set.
I gotta go. You know, I'll take Stützle, just a little bit of a lighter player because
Yeah.
my players are so big and strong. I need someone a little bit.
I got to
lighter.
add a little bit of size. You're right.
So, a little bit. You got to add
Easy.
some.
One alternate.
Okay, I don't love Hyman for the next 5 years. That's the
you
problem.
do.
But I'll throw Hyman out there. I'll put Hyman out there.
Jeez, that team in the middle, not your team. It's not.
I got Connor McDavid up the middle of the
Jeez.
ice. What are you talking about?
Hope you never own a team.
Like I can't wait. Can you give us your reasoning for how you take Draisaitl ahead of McDavid for the next 5 years? Explain that
You're
to
going
our
to
audience.
get booed out of your own market.
You might.
with that.
Rashog might say that's
Yeah.
it. You're done.
Listen,
the podcast is over.
I think I love Connor. I think he's a great player. What I value though is I want to see in the playoffs. I wanted to create a heavy line that can score and just wear you down. And I had in my mind it was going to be Tkachuk and Draisaitl. All those. That's a duo I wanted all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to add Connor on the side. I got Scheifele, who's a really good player. But those I like heavy and big in the playoffs. And Connor McDavid's great, but he didn't fit the profile, the type of line I was looking to build. So
doesn't fit the profile.
That's a
best player-
typical GM move. That's just
Yeah.
overthinking it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what.
no,
You're
I look at
torts.
my D, wheeling and dealing. Let's put it up on Twitter for people to vote.
Oh,
I'd
we
stand by it.
will. We will.
Stand by it.
Okay. Listen, I appreciate that. That takes stones. I mean, I appreciate it greatly. And
I like the Stones. It's also on all these drafts that we've ever done. It's the dumbest thing we've ever seen in the entire draft era of OverDrive.
I just assumed
49
McDavid goes.
Well,
Like
that's
we were
why
almost,
we gave him the first pick.
Yeah,
We're
it's
like,
go
take
McDavid.
McDavid.
Exactly, and then we'll get it'll be a party after that. Let's see what happens. And shock to the system. Draisaitl goes 1. And McDavid's sitting there for me. So maybe you're inspiring McDavid. Maybe you're playing 4D chess here.
Could be.
That McDavid's a fan. You know he's watching right now. I don't even think he made the trip to Seattle. And he's probably thinking, all right, Struddy's trying to put a quarter in me. And when I return, I'm going to show this guy why I deserve to be the number 1 pick.
I was looking for a different profile of a line.
Okay. Doesn't have what it takes. Doesn't have what it takes.
Got it. Now, if I wanted a different looking line, he would be my guy.
Okay.
Right.
All right. But yeah, there you go. Okay. I was curious. There were a few guys I was wondering, like, when was Quinn Hughes going to go? Would Pettersson be a guy that would even go? Would Demko go? Like, this is the thing. If we did this a year ago, Demko's gone quick. Pettersson's 100% picked. JT Miller's probably getting picked. Like there's a lot of, like, obviously it's just a practice to kind of put things into perspective where things stand right now. But, and a year from now, who knows? Maybe Dylan Cousins is a guy that could be on the board a year from now. Maybe Slavkovsky is a guy that almost feels like a lock, or Matthew Nyes, or whatever. Maybe some of these guys aren't playing in Canada anymore; they're not even available. All right, there you go. You guys want to hear Bubba Watson speaking with golf.com? Here's what.
Hit me.
Okay, so let's just play it. Come back, we can react to it.
I know Tiger did some stuff in 2000. But Scottie's year was the best we've ever seen. With all the talent around the world now playing, that was it.
So he believes Scottie Scheffler in 24 had a better year than Tiger Woods in 2000. Better year than Jack Nicklaus at any point in his career. What do you make of that comment?
That's an insane comment. I don't know. I think even Scottie Scheffler would say, "Are you high, dude?"
I agree. He won the Masters and didn't win any other major. Won the Players, won the Arnie Palmer, won at the Memorial, won at Harbor. He won a ton. He won 9 times. Unbelievable year. Tiger in 2000, he won the U.S. Open by 15 shots.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Went over to the British Open and smoked
and
everyone.
won by 8 or whatever it was. Was that at St. Andrews too in 2000? I think it might have been.
I remember Mark O'Meara saying around that time how he went into his living room and he had all 4 majors sitting on his coffee table at the same time.
Right. Yeah, because he won the Masters in 01, right, to complete the Tiger Slam.
I just don't know why he would have to. I think it's a crazy comment, but maybe he believes it. And if he believes it, then go ahead and let it rip.
But the other piece, guys, is that the 2 leagues are separate. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
And
everyone's
he's a live
together.
guy.
Yeah, so there's not, if everyone is, it's split at everyone in 2 or some in 2. So I don't think the quality is quite as deep.
Well, yet he's making the argument that what Bubba, I think, is trying to say is that there's tougher competition than what Tiger dealt with in 2000.
Dude, that's insane. He had Ernie Els on top of his game, Phil Mickelson on top of his game, Vijay Singh on top of his game, David Duval. Like, those guys weren't chumps.
No, I know. And this is, it's a common theme during the week. You know, LeBron did it. LeBron said it with McAfee the other day. You go back to the 70s, this and that. And that's kind of what it feels like Bubba's doing. I wonder if Bubba's got some issue with Tiger, although it's not like it's a big shot. He said, obviously, Tiger was great in 2000. He's pumping the tires of Scheffler. But as great as he was, that feels like a blasphemy comment within the golf world. And Bubba will be at Augusta. He's won it twice. You know, like he'll be there. And people ask him about these comments. Tiger won't be. But Scheffler had a great year. He did, but Tiger in 2000 is just, and I don't know which year of the Nicklaus run is considered the greatest, but there's got to be one in there where it was like, why don't we talk about this more? You know, I don't know what year that would be, 1973 or 67 or whatever, but that guy won 18 majors. He T5, T10'd at everything. Like Nicklaus was in the hunt all the time. All right, anyway, we're getting some reaction already here from these teams.
Oh, let's take a break and let's get to some feedback. Why don't we?
Someone just wrote in Struddy's auto picking. Struddy, were you stuck? Did you lose your internet and you got on auto pick?
Never. I can never. I can't auto pick anything. You got to stand by. You got to make your own picks and stand by.
I like the way you're thinking, man. I love that Habs
Be your own
defense.
person.
I love the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
Caden Gooley returning to the lineup is going to be big for Montreal too. I mean that is going to be significant. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. The Jays game is over. They got rocked. They gave up 6 home runs today. I believe is that an opening day record? An American League record. So someone in the National League got torched for 7+ at one point. 6 home runs at home. The first home opener in 6 years. And they got destroyed by Baltimore today.
Dude, 162, you can't make kind of assumptions or...
Bad omen. Not a good start. Not a good start.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, it's it's a marathon, but that one stung. And like just watching it, I've had it on in the background. You know, behind the plate when they've done all the renos, and it's so different behind the plate. Like just every half inning, like one person left, and then 2, and then 3.
What
By
did
the
your boy
7th inning,
Vladdy do at the plate?
not much. I think he walked at one point, but that was about it.
Thinking about the new offer.
Yeah, he had 1 hit. So there you go. Yeah, well. No, it's 0 hit. Yeah, he just had a walk, right? It does make you wonder, would Vladdy pick up the phone on the way home and be like, why don't we lock in that $500 million deal?
Dude, I'm the team. If I'm the ownership and I watch this team stink the joint out early on, I'd be like, no, there's no offers going anywhere. All of it can go. Goodbye.
Well, again, it's game 1. It's a long season. It's early here. It's early, but not a good one for the Jays. Best bet still to come. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Austin Matthews, 5+ shots on goal tonight. Tyler Toffoli, anytime goal scorer, plus 575. Toffoli loves playing the Leafs. They haven't played since Saturday. They're sitting there waiting for him. But I think, Matthews back in California where he was born, loves the West Coast, loves Cali. I think he shows up and has himself a night as well. Again, that parlay paying plus 575. Today's Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Live same-game parlays are now available for every NHL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario.
What's the buzz on Twitter?
About our draft.
Who's taking the most heat?
I would say Struddy. Struddy's taking a lot of heat right now. Yeah, like we asked.
Only 15% for Struddy. Wow,
Yeah.
they hate you.
No vision, right? That's fine. It's people want to be short.
I think passing up on McDavid is costly.
Yeah,
Like,
that one hurt you. That was a
one-
credibility
you
shot.
You made some enemies with that play.
Yeah.
I made the play that's best to win, right? That I was vision for my team, and that's fine.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
Let's put this out there in 3 or 4 years to get absolute stud lines.
Listen, I would say the only team with like a true number one center, number one defenseman, although I think Morrissey's a true number one, but Matthews and Hughes on O-Dog's team is a pretty solid start to
Strong.
a team building.
Any solid
exercise.
executive will say you got to build within the middle of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
I
What
hear
are
what you're
they-
saying, but that's why I took Hellebuck so high too, man. I got the best player in the world in McDavid and the best goalie in the world. Who's beating me? Nobody's going to beat my team. It's not going to happen.
Dog, when you start throwing around 2 guys with 2 career playoff round wins, like that's pretty significant muscle.
It's
we're
actually
talking
one.
about.
It's one.
Yeah, it's only one actually for well, I guess Hellebuck's how many? Hellebuck won a couple, but Matthews and Marner and Nylander, if that's what you're getting to.
Well, Quinn Hughes has won one, wasn't
Glenn, he's won a couple. They won in the bubble, right?
Yeah.
They won a round or two in the bubble, and they won a round last year. So Quinn
I
Hughes
thought
is a
that
winner.
Vancouver team in the bubble when Greeny was coaching them, I thought they were possibly going to shock the world.
Yeah, it felt like it
coaching.
was setting up that way,
Yeah.
and got away from them. But John Schneider, I guess, is up on the podium. The Jays got just absolutely dummied. Like it's, we keep saying it's only one game. It's only one game. It's just the worst possible first game impression. They lost 12-2. And Barrios got rocked, and the bullpen got rocked. I think Rodriguez came in. They were just trying to get to the finish line, and he
Dude,
got
I know
hit
it's only
hard.
one game, Hayes, but wait till you see what happens when they get rocked tomorrow.
Well, yeah, I
they'll
mean,
find it.
and then like you got Gosman on the mound tomorrow, and then you got Scherzer game 3 of the series. So that'll be intriguing. Like if their bats will come alive, and they'll be okay. They can still find a way to split this series, maybe win it. But if you lose tomorrow, and then you go into game 3 of the series against a divisional rival, and Scherzer's on the mound, and if your bullpen's beat up, and he's only going to give you 60 pitches or 65 pitches before they got to take him out, that's where it gets dicey. That's why they let Barrios in, I think, as long as they did, because you're starting the year, and you got a lot of games, and you got a homestand, you got no breaks, and you got Scherzer, who you don't know what you're getting out of in terms of the amount of pitches he's going to throw. You can't just ice your bullpen game 1 of the season. So yeah, it's not a good start. Like I'm quite curious to see what kind of commentary comes out of the Rogers Center today.
I can't wait to hear it either.
Yeah, and they play tomorrow night, and we'll get into it more tomorrow and start teeing up the rest of the weekend. But I mean, you can see it. It's a packed house, 50,000 people. They're back home. It's just a different. It's different energy, man. It's a different start to the season than one that I can remember, really for quite some time. Because even
there's everything's involved, Hayes. There's like lack of success. There's the Ohtani pursuit. There's the Soto pursuit, none landing, the nonsense after, and I don't know. You put it all together, and then you just toss in a little start like that. It's just like it was just like a little bit of gasoline.
Yeah. It's as bad as you could expect to play opening day.
Can't go worse, right? That's what maybe you say after the game. Can't get worse, boys.
Yeah, it's onward and upward from here.
6 homers. Oof.
6 home runs the Blue Jays gave up today. Baltimore batting practice down at the Dome, and game 2 tomorrow night.
There's a 7th, my team. That's probably the 7th, actually, my draft team.
Your draft team is considered a home run. That would be number 7. All right, Strud. Good stuff, man. Thank you for doing this. As
See you
always,
guys.
there he is,
Good
Jason
times. Talk
Strudwick.
soon.
Always good times. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today, TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Finkel is Einhorn, and Struddy is the Fergler. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.